On an ordinary day at the zoo, a young gorilla was being mischievous in front of visitors, all while his father watched closely. As soon as his dad stepped in, the young gorilla quickly corrected his behavior. In November 2017, guests at Twycross Zoo in Leicestershire, England, witnessed a heartwarming moment between two western lowland gorillas. Yum, the large silverback gorilla, was relaxing after a busy day of gathering straw for his sleeping spot. The sun was shining brightly, and he was soaking it in. Visitors snapped photos, admiring his strong frame and powerful presence. To them, Yum was the picture of gorilla strength, but to someone else, he was simply Dad. Gorillas share a lot of DNA with humans, and they often act just like us. And just like how human kids sometimes like to pester their parents, Yum's sons, Shufai and Lope, decided it was the perfect time to interrupt their dad's peaceful moment. As young gorillas, playtime was everything. They spent their days full of energy, running, wrestling, and making noise, happily leaving the adult responsibilities to their mom and dad. But that day, they wanted Dad involved in their games. The zoo staff quickly noticed the sneaky look exchanged between the brothers as they eyed their sleepy father, clearly plotting their next bit of mischief. The keepers pulled out their phones, sensing something sweet was about to unfold. Shufai stayed back a little, but his older brother Lope got brave and approached their father. While Yum tried to enjoy a well-earned nap, Lope stepped right into his space, pretending to investigate a random spot nearby. But everyone could see he was just trying to annoy his dad, who opened one eye, then the other, as if to say, "Out of everywhere, you choose right here?" It seems even gorilla dads can't get a break from their kids' antics. Still, Yum responded with the calm patience he was known for. Despite his powerful build, he gave a low grunt that sounded almost like a chuckle at his son's behavior, showing he understood the playful spirit of youth. Some visitors even said he shook his head, just like a human dad might, when dealing with silly kids. Maybe Yum knew that sometimes the best response to a pesky child is to let them carry on. But Lope wasn't ready to give up. He danced and darted around his father, light on his feet, clearly trying to pull attention his way. Yum kept his eyes shut and stayed still, hoping Lope would eventually move on to something else. But Lope only got bolder. He crept closer, interrupting his dad's quiet moment. Yum had a reputation among the staff as a gentle giant, but they also knew he could lose his patience if pushed too far. As calm as he seemed, he was still the leader of the group and a wild animal at heart. Irritation flickered in Yum's eyes when Lope inched even nearer and began casually tearing up grass. Yum opened his eyes wide, locking his gaze on his son. For a moment, everything was still. The playful mood had shifted into something more serious, a test of boundaries. It was like he was saying, "That's enough now." But like many youngsters, Lope didn't realize when to stop. He was determined to stir a reaction, not knowing he was about to get one he wouldn't forget. As Lope turned away, pretending to search for a place to stretch, his little brother Shufai peeked from the enclosure's edge. To the zoo staff, it looked like Shufai was checking to see if Lope had crossed a line. The younger brother glanced at both his dad and Lope, then quietly slipped back inside, perhaps sensing that their dad was getting annoyed. Lope stepped away briefly, but then returned to the exact same spot where Yum had been trying to rest. That's when Lope finally got what he was asking for. The massive silverback let out a loud breath and stood up, leaving his resting place to go for a short walk. It seemed he was trying to compose himself before reacting too strongly in front of the crowd. He might have let it go if his sons hadn't decided to follow him once again. It was clear Yum wouldn't be getting any rest or peace that day. But when his short attempt to relax on the grass was disturbed yet again, Yum decided he'd had enough. With a swift motion that gave his son just enough time to jump out of the way, he charged across the enclosure, unleashing the full force of an adult silverback's frustration. Zoo visitors watched tensely, unsure of what Yum would do next. Just a few weeks earlier, the staff had posted a video showing Yum lunging at his partner and sons during a moment of irritation. The video wasn't meant to make Yum look bad, but to remind people that even calm gorillas are still wild animals, driven by natural instincts. So now everyone waited, thinking Yum might scold his son for pushing things too far. But instead, he chose not to punish his boys for their playful trouble. They already looked startled enough. Little Lope had darted away, maybe toward his mom or a safe corner of the enclosure. Stunned by his father's sudden reaction, Lope froze, his body shaking. A tiny worried sound escaped him as he realized he had taken the joke too far. Shaken, he quickly gave his dad the space he'd wanted all along. Looking up at Yum, Lope seemed to share a quiet moment of understanding with him. There was a flicker of defiance, but the urge to play faded, and Lope now showed a bit more respect. He had learned something important. With a small shake of his head, he stepped away, possibly wondering if there was a better way to get his father's attention next time. As Yum finally got to enjoy his quiet time, Lope rejoined his brother Shufai. Together, they found something new to play, their laughter echoing through the enclosure. Still, the touching moment between Yum and Lope didn't go unnoticed. Within hours, the clip spread like wildfire online. People from all walks of life joined in the discussion, touched by Yum's parenting style. Some laughed, pointing out how much gorilla families mirror our own. Others turned the spotlight on gorilla conservation, highlighting the threats their wild homes are facing and the urgent need to protect them. As the story reached hearts across the world, Twycross Zoo became the heart of this emotional tale, offering a glimpse into the lives of gorilla families. Tucked away in the calm countryside of Leicestershire, England, the zoo had long been known for its impressive range of animals, especially its focus on primates. Their journey with gorillas began in 2009 when 3 female western lowland gorillas arrived: Dante, Biddy, and Ozala. Ozala stood out, having been born right at Twycross, marking a key milestone in the zoo's conservation mission to protect the species. Things shifted 3 years later when Yum, the Silverback, joined the zoo, sparking excitement among staff and visitors alike. Yum and Ozala became a pair, and in January 2013, they welcomed their first son, Lope. Then, on September 24, 2016, Shufai was born, both arrivals celebrated with immense joy. From the beginning, Lope and Shufai were adored by the keepers and guests alike. With wide eyes and endless curiosity, they grew up copying their father and learning from his every move. Under Yum's careful watch, they grew stronger and wiser each day. As Lope and Shufai got older, their playful antics made them crowd favorites, always bringing smiles with their spirited games. But beneath the fun, something deeper was growing, a bond of trust and learning between Yum and his sons. Yum, both gentle and firm, guided them with steady patience. With love and quiet strength, he helped shape their bold little personalities, preparing them for life's lessons in the only way a father like him could. The episode of Yum's charge, sparked by his son's playful teasing, served as a gentle but clear reminder about the importance of respect and boundaries in a family. Though startled at first, both Lope and Shufai quickly absorbed the lesson. Through moments like these, Yum was shaping their character, teaching them the balance between strength and empathy, qualities they'd need one day as leaders in their own gorilla groups. On another day, it was Shufai who found himself facing his father's serious gaze. This time, the concern was sparked by a sudden change in Ozala's condition. Usually full of energy, Ozala had become quieter, eating less and seeming unusually tired. This worried the zookeepers, who decided to separate her from the group to check on her health more closely. Thankfully, after an exam, the vets found that Ozala simply had a fever, a common illness, but one that could become serious without care. They quickly gave her medication and supportive care to help her bounce back. Soon enough, the treatment worked. Ozala's energy returned, and her familiar spark began to shine again. Even as she improved, the vets recommended a little more rest before she rejoined her family. A few days later, it was time. Though still a bit delicate, Ozala was ready to step back into the enclosure. The sounds and smells of home welcomed her, bringing comfort and a sense of normal life after her time away. Her sons rushed over joyfully, surrounding her with gentle grunts and loving attention. Ozala responded with warm affection, wrapping her arms around them in a heartfelt embrace. Their energy reminded her of all she'd missed, and her smile said it all. Lope and Shufai seemed to understand that their mom still needed quiet. Instead of their usual roughhousing, they stayed close to her in calm companionship, showing the gentle side of their connection. But peace in young Shufai didn't last too long. During an energetic game of chase with Lope, Shufai's enthusiasm got the better of him. He accidentally bumped into Ozala, knocking her over. She fell to the ground, clearly shaken and struggling to get up. Yum, always alert, saw the entire thing and reacted instantly. With a deep, low growl, he stood tall, his fatherly instincts fully engaged. He turned to Shufai, eyes sharp with disappointment. No words were needed. His look alone was enough to show how serious the moment was and how much Shufai still had to learn. Caught off guard, Shufai's laughter vanished. Realizing his mistake, he quietly moved to a corner of the enclosure, head lowered, guilt washing over him. The playful little gorilla had gone still, reflecting on what had just happened, and how his carelessness had hurt someone he loved. In that silent moment, Shufai made a small promise to himself, to be more thoughtful from now on. He wanted to earn back his father's trust, not through big gestures, but by being more aware and respectful in his actions. Yum, knowing his son's heart was good and that he was still learning, forgave him quickly. Despite the rough patch, the love both parents had for Shufai never wavered. They knew growth came with mistakes. And with Ozala feeling better, life at Twycross Zoo picked up its happy rhythm once more. Their days were filled with green spaces, games, and moments of bonding. The family grew closer through every challenge they faced. But for the staff and the many visitors who had seen these moments unfold, Yum's quiet parenting had left a lasting mark. This story of a young gorilla's innocent mistake and the way his family handled it touched hearts everywhere. It reminded us of our own parenting experiences, the laughs, the lessons, and the growth. What are your unforgettable parenting stories? Share them with us in the comments below. Thanks for watching Wonderbot Animals. See you in the next video.